And let's get our acceleration here. Oh yeah. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over the all-new Dodge Durango RT. Before we get this video though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller, Dodge Ram here in Sandy, Utah, for giving me some time with this Durango. I'm going to include links to their inventory in the description down below, so you can check out what they have currently. And with that being said, as always, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 5.7 liter Hemi V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 14 around town and then 22 on the highway, with power outputs being 360 horsepower and then 390 pound-feet of torque. Before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Starting with the hood, you've got really cool venting all over, and it just makes this thing look so much better. And then coming down below, we got the performance front fascia here with the Durango all blacked out. You guys can see the new style daytime running lights there with the LED headlamps, and then notice the fog lights down below, and that kind of like teardrop area is the best way to describe it in terms of how it looks. But yeah, it's such a cool look. Sorry about my shadow, but anyways, when you see this thing driving down the road, ooh, that looks cool. Coming on the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 265, 50, 20 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see the coloration on the wheel, how it's like metallic gray. Definitely a cool look. We got these really nice body painted fender flares, got the Hemi badge right there, and then notice with the mirror cap how that's all blacked out. And then taking a look at the side profile here, you guys can see how the hood kind of like bulges there and everything. Just, yeah, cool look. So here's our key fob. You guys can see Dodge logo there on the back. We have our unlock function, or lock function, or remote start, and then the opening here for the hatch. And then actually popping inside, so I've got the third row folded down. You guys can see tons of storage space with that folded down. And then down below here, you can see if I lift this up, got more storage underneath. But I'm sure you guys are curious, what is this like with the third row folded up? Well, be curious no longer. If I can get my finger through the loop. There we go. So with the third row up, I mean, still decent amount. And then when you're all done, just press that. And with the hatch lowering down, you guys can see we've got the cool Durango light bar here on the back end with the Dodge logo in the center all blacked out, and then Durango and all that, again, all blacked out on this particular one. Parking sensors there at the bottom, and then you guys can see that little bezel there at the bottom, and then look at the exhaust tips. Pretty aggressive. And yeah, I know the Durango styling is kind of old at this point because it's been out for quite some time, but I still think it looks pretty cool. Now popping over the door panel, look at the trim that goes across, and then the leather trim, and then the red stitching. I mean, that is cool. Now, this handle right here, it does that. So then we can look at this thing back here. So you guys can see perforated in the center still has the red stitching and everything. And as for the third row with the Durango, well, let's just pop in. So legroom back here is, well, pretty decent. And then you guys can see you got a cup holder here in the back as well. Not exactly the most graceful getting in though. And then headroom's actually pretty good. Now, as for the second row, you guys can see really cool red stitching, perforated leather in the center portion. Legroom here is pretty solid. You got a little storage pocket right there. We've got some vents here in the center, USBs, heated seats. The camera doesn't want to focus because of the sunlight. Sorry about that. Charging ports as well. And then headroom's also pretty solid back here. And then, of course, we got the climate controls here for the rear at the top and cup holder armrest. Now with the front door panel, you guys can see it's kind of padded there at the top, but down below is where the real nice leather trim is again with that red stitching. And then we've got all of our window controls here. Notice the front two are automatic. We've got our mirror adjustments, memory seat functionality. The mirrors do have blind spot monitoring too. And then here's the front seat. You guys can see the Dodge logo right there, and then notice the perforated leather down below. And then you do have your power adjustments here on the side with the lumbar support. Light controls right here, and then look at like the red stitching and everything. That looks really cool. Steering wheel is power adjustable, by the way. Now here's the steering wheel, really nice leather trim all around, and then notice perforated here on the side. We do have some radio controls there on the back. We've got our paddle shifters as well. Regular cruise control, you've got your voice command phone controls over there, and then controls for the center. And then here's the gauge cluster. You guys can see partially analog, and then you do have that screen there in the center, which lets us scroll through different bits of info here. I love how you have the RT page, which is kind of like your performance setup and everything. So cool little setup in the gauge cluster. We do have a backup camera here with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel, and resolution's pretty good. Now, as for the rest of the infotainment screen, you guys can see response time is actually pretty solid with the screen. Now, this is the Durango's newer unit. Definitely looks a lot better than the previous unit, and overall, I think that functionality with it's pretty good. And yes, we still have the third row headrest fold, so you can still smack your kids in the back of the head if they're being annoying. And then down below, you guys can see our dual zone climate controls, heated and cooled seats, heated steering wheel as well. And then that's for your parking sensors, your stability control, hazard lights, and then this is your drive mode select. So right now, it is in eco mode. That's normal mode. That's sport mode. Hopefully that makes sense. We got a wireless phone charging pad here with some USBs and, you know, decent storage. And then you guys can see shifter for that 8-speed automatic transmission. It does have a manual shift function. And we've got some cup holders as well. Cool red stitching here on the center console and storage space inside of that. That is nice. And then you can see the red stitching that continues all along. And look at on the dash as well. That's nice, that's for sure. And then decent storage in the glove box. And then you guys can see sunglass holder here at the top and then universal garage door openers. So there's quite a bit of glare, so it's kind of hard to see what's happening here. But anyways, this is Durango RT. It has the leather trimmed bucket seats, the black top package, and that's pretty much it. Total MSRP is $57,840. Let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood. Both the mirrors just do a blind spot monitoring. And throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. Well, let's set off here in the Durango RT. And first off, ride quality with this is really smooth, actually. Some of the nice things about the Durango. Now, the RT does kind of like amp things up a little bit, so it is a little bit sportier riding compared to like a regular Durango. Or if you don't compare this to like the Grand Cherokee L, because they're kind of sibling vehicles. This is a little bit harsher riding, but you know, it's the price you pay for the sportier feel. Steering also feels kind of sportier as well. Seat cover's really good though. These leather seats are nice. If you do hear any rattling in the audio, it's my tripod. It's not the Durango. Yeah, I probably should get a new one, but at the same time, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It just rattles. So yeah. Hey, I really like how this drives. Insulation from the road, pretty decent. And you know, Tellurides are cool, but I got horsepower Telluride. That's something that you don't have with that little dinky 3.8 liter V6. But let's pop it into the sport mode here. That's pretty fun. And that's so cool, this Volvo has a Christmas tree on top. Go Volvo. Love the Hemi sound. Good torque. Yeah, gear shifts are smooth. And yeah, it drives really well. I like this quite a bit. Love the steering wheel feel too. I think that's another big plus. And let's get our acceleration here. Oh yeah! V8 power. I like the little burble in the exhaust at the end there. I just gotta love a good, naturally aspirated V8. You just can't ever go wrong with that. It sounds so good. So yeah, summing things up here with the Durango. I think it looks really cool. Drives really well. The interior is nice on this with the leather package. Definitely think it's worth going for. And you know, yeah, it's just a solid vehicle. And again, I'm just gonna say this, they don't make them like this very often anymore. Like Dodge has this, but like everyone else has naturally aspirated V6s, which are gutless, or they are going the turbocharged route, which, you know, turbochargers are cool and all, but I mean, naturally aspirated means better reliability, and you just get better throttle response because you don't have any stupid turbo lag. So let me know what you guys think about this Durango RT. I think it's pretty cool, and that's all. That's it. Something's up with our video on this Dodge Durango. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram here in Sandy, Utah for giving me some time with this Durango. Check out the info in the description down below. I'll see ya.